It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of a Texas high school homecoming game. The game may be the main attraction, but the practice of high school students inviting each other to homecoming kicks into motion a Texas tradition with a nearly 100-year history. Now, it might be hard to imagine how today's homecoming mums and garters came to be. While there's speculation about the origins of this tradition, there are a lot of clues if you know where to look. As the practice of exchanging mums and garters evolved, the media of the day paid attention. That's where we find the clues. Wind the clock back to the early 1900s and before, when the term "everything's bigger in Texas" came into popular use, even in New York City. Around that time, the term homecoming described a special reunion, such as the homecoming of a pastor visiting a former congregation, an alumna visiting her hometown women's club, and a soldier returning from war. Meanwhile, football was gaining a fan base and integrating first into college life, then at the high school level. Several colleges, including the University of Missouri and two in Texas, claim to have hosted the first homecoming in the country. Southwestern University in Georgetown hosted its first alumni reunion weekend in April 1909 and called it homecoming. A few months later, Baylor University in Waco also hosted its first alumni reunion, which included a homecoming football game. One thing we know for sure, soon after, high schools in Texas were quick to adopt the idea of homecoming festivities and football. According to dating etiquette of the 1920s and 30s, a proper boy would give a proper girl a corsage before a special night out, such as a homecoming dance, and the girl would often reciprocate with a boutonniere. Articles in the ladies section of local newspapers across Texas show that chrysanthemums were very much in style, so they quickly became a popular homecoming corsage option. The sports section was filled with college football reporting, including the increasingly popular homecoming contests. Homecoming games and the revelry with them spread across Texas until the early 1940s. During World War II, some homecoming activities continued, but with subdued fanfare. After the war ended and into the 1950s, Texas and the whole country experienced renewed optimism. Homecoming mums in Texas reflected the mood with buoyant team spirit. Go, fight, win. Communities rallied around their college and high school teams by uniting around the symbolism of schools, such as their colors, mascots, and letters. Florists began adding tiny versions of spirit items into their chrysanthemum corsage designs and placing advertisements for them in the local paper. By now, newspapers were regularly covering high school homecoming matchups and featuring photographs of homecoming queens. Texans and their mums might have floated forever in post-war exuberance, if not for a powerful new factor: economic prosperity. More and better floral and crafting supplies began flooding the market, including better ribbons, more accessories, and prettier artificial flowers. With the introduction of artificial chrysanthemums, mum for short, suddenly a corsage became a keepsake. By the mid-1960s, the idea started to catch on. Customization was now not only possible, but demanded by customers who were willing to pay for it. Mum designers began integrating more trinkets that represented the individual students' school activities, like cheerleading, sports, drama, and music. Thanks to all of these new materials, the monopoly previously enjoyed by florists was besieged by all kinds of new competition, including craft stores, nurseries, grocery stores, and other specialty shops. But the competition that would topple them all, moms, grandmothers, aunts, and other creative women all across Texas started making their kids' mums themselves, and those with the talent and inclination went into business. In the 1980s and 90s, driven by a sustained population explosion, new high schools were popping up all over Texas.
So this is our Mega Texas Mom.
Mom DIYers and home-based businesses were flourishing.
She has opted for a Texas-shaped homecoming mom.
Mom recycling came and went, and florists were opting out.
Oh, and it has lights on it, this one.
Some momtrepreneurs had become so successful they were opening their own storefronts. Variations in mum design were driven by peer group and personal taste. The largest mums from this era read like a three-dimensional yearbook of that student's academic and social life. By this time, boys were wearing mums too, called garters, usually worn on the arm. At schools across the state, informal rules and conventions were emerging, often to delineate class year or club leadership. Senior mums, for instance, were and still are typically all white with gold or silver accents. With more visibility came increased scrutiny, and more people began expressing opinions about the direction the tradition was heading. A divide between participants and non-participants in the tradition began to emerge. Some schools even started imposing restrictions on how and when mums and garters could be worn. One Texas city even sued a home-based mum maker for code violations. In 1995, the city of Brownfield claimed that Mary Gunnels was running a flower shop in a residential area, which was against city code and causing traffic congestion. The city lost its case twice. Mary then ran for mayor. She lost, but the Associated Press circulated the story. From the Wall Street Journal to Country Living to Cosmopolitan, Texas high school homecoming mums have and continue to make national news. At home in Texas, as the 21st century progresses, mums and garters have become a homecoming tradition in their own right, having fully evolved from a simple perfunctory corsage to a method of self-expression. Football may still be king in Texas, but some might say it's the mums that reign supreme.
It's a busy time at Aledo Florist. Homecoming always brings them in.
It's not homecoming without a mom.
Never expected them to be this.
The bigger, the better.
Locally during fall months, alongside highlights from the games, you can count on television, print, and online coverage of the ongoing evolution of homecoming mums.
Kelly McCauley and her team started getting ready for the homecoming season back in the summer, ordering silk mums, ribbons, trinkets, all the things that make a mum memorable.
Every one of them is different.
This is where Kelly gets the goods, ACI in Fort Worth, the largest maker, importer, and distributor of homecoming supplies in the southern United States.
Additionally, with the rise of social media, students, moms, and mum makers alike can easily showcase their mums with others. This instant exchange of ideas is leading to expansion of the tradition outside of Texas.
Texas, of course, is the largest user of the football homecoming mom.
And now the popularity is growing.
This one is Chad the Bad, so that one's yours.
Melissa ships mums all over the country.
Washington State, Alaska, it's Texans.
Spreading a Texas tradition.
And so many people, they keep these. It really means something to them, and it's kind of nostalgic.
Mums are so personalized now that the line is blurring between the individual and the object.
It's very rewarding work.
Every fall,
Yeah, I like that.
Melissa Ansley works nonstop,
I just want it to look just right.
making mums.
They're a work of art.
The mum isn't just something to wear. It's an experience to be asked to wear one, to create one, to live in one all day, to capture its memory on social media, and to cherish as you would any beloved tradition.
So we always ask for photos of massive homecoming moms, and now NBC5 viewers are getting serious.
Meet Sydney and Gelvin. They go to Timber Creek High School in Keller. This is amazing to me. Mom Tammy wanted us to take note of the shark jaw mom.
Oh,
so
I like it.
It all makes sense. Sydney wants to be a marine biologist, and she wants to study sharks. So they went for a one-of-a-kind mum there. They achieved it.
One of a kind.
Home-based mum-making businesses, craft stores, and online shops have nearly taken over the retail side of the ready-made and custom mum market. serving students who attend the nearly 3,300 public and private high schools in Texas. Mother-daughter team Brenda and Kelsey have more than a decade of experience making custom mums.
It was 2008 is when we officially started, and how it began was my son asked his girlfriend for homecoming.
She's taught me everything. She really did. She taught me not only about being true to myself and what I want out of a product, but she's also taught me, how to run a business, how to market towards people, how to balance books.
The value of hard work, commitment, and the rewards that you can reap from that.
And business, like some of the mums themselves, is
Huge. This is Texas.
so big, in fact, Melissa quit her corporate job so she could focus solely on this quintessential Texas tradition.
Just never going to go away.
With so much media and exposure, the level of scrutiny and diversity of opinions have reached an all-time high. Anti-mum sentiment is complex. Alternative mum efforts are varied. Those alternatives that seem to stick tend to respect the tradition's roots while seeking ways to be more inclusive.
It's a homecoming pep rally typical of what you'd see all over Texas. A packed gym, pom-poms, and massive homecoming moms. But look closer and you'll see a new tradition blooming.
It's just really neat to see this idea just become a reality. Reedy Mom Challenge.
In a video earlier this semester, Ellie Meinershagen challenged fellow Reedy High School students to downsize their Texas-sized moms. Simple chrysanthemum flowers with a few ribbons is what student council sold instead.
Sentiments about the ever-increasing size of mums vary wildly, and at some schools and districts, individual students and groups seek alternatives.
Nate and Courtney decided to forego the Texas tradition of mums and garters. Instead, they will donate the money they would have spent on ribbons and trinkets to charity. Courtney explains growing up, Cook Children's Hospital helped her with medical problems. And this year, instead of spending several $100s on a mum, she asked Nate to donate the money to the hospital that once helped her. He was more than willing.
We just figured for what people were spending on them that just we could do so much better things with that.
Instead, the two will be wearing these.
We made them together.
A smaller version of a mum made up of one ribbon in letters from a magazine.
Homecoming mums and garters have become highly personal to the people who give and wear them, and to the people who create them. Mums and garters have evolved to reflect popular culture, and what's on trend today is extremism, big fat weddings, massive promposals, and even tiny houses are a form of extremism. As for mums,
this is Bray and Audrey from Alvarado High School, and we actually have video for you to see. Bray's mom, Haven, says that, I assure you the mom was not supposed to turn out this large. Pinterest got the best of us. It took them 10 weeks, and they bonded over a hot glue gun.
In a world where extremism seems to be our new reality, extreme mum making has found an ideal environment, the Lone Star State. All the ingredients are here: deep roots, unlimited supplies, endless creativity, and economic prosperity. Driven by the exuberance of Texans toward traditions like high school football, the tenacity of moms, and a worldwide network to share the love, what's the cumulative result? It's momentous.